Hello there.
Guys, Josh Lloyd here, ready to give you my what to watch for Monday. Let's get stuck into it. First game is the Alonzo Mourning Bowl, the Hornets and the Heat. PJ Washington getting those backup center minutes with Bismack Biyombo out of the rotation. Let's see if he can keep those block numbers, rebound numbers, field goal percentage numbers up. That is key to his value. Happened last game, so let's see how it goes. And then Cody Zeller, who's been really good, probably playing the best basketball of his career since returning from that hand fracture. Minutes are way up. Now, I've been advocating for Zeller for years and years and years, saying how important he is to actually winning basketball games for this team, and they've always limited him. And now, finally, they're giving him these minutes, and he's worth at least a 12-team league look. So keep an eye on him. He also flashed some assist potential last game too. For the Heat, Jim Butler is back.
Because he's my butler.
Someone said they wanted to trade him away because he looked too skinny. Man, people just love reading into so many different things about players. I want to see how he goes here, but more importantly, how the rest of the team looks around him. And one of those players to look at is Tyler Hero.
Everyone has a hero.
True.
0 people shouldn't have a hero.
Now, first of all, we need to know whether Tyler Hero is playing because the person he lives with has tested positive for COVID. You would think it'd be impossible for him to play. But if somehow he's able to test negative and play through it, what does he look like playing alongside Butler? Because usage goes down, ball handling and assist opportunities also go down when he plays alongside Jimmy Butler. I still think he's going to remain a 12-team league guy, but he's got top 100 potential without Butler and probably like top 120 when he plays with Jim. So let's see how that molds together. How will the guards work? Is Dragic going to return? Is Bradley going to be there? And how Hero looks in that scenario. The Kent Bazemore Bowl. The Lakers and the Hawks. Anthony Davis's free throw. Well, first of all, Davis and LeBron are questionable again. Davis's free throw percentage has been off all season. It is impacting his value. He's been nowhere near that number 2 player, which he's been so many times in the past. It's been a weird year for everybody, obviously, and it's clearly having an impact on Anthony Davis. Let's hope these free throw percentages can come up, and I want to watch that. And I just want to see if there's any reason why this is happening. And I'll also throw the future MVP, Kyle Kuzma, on there. For some reason, people are still rostering this bloke. I have no idea why. I have no understanding of it. Are there that many casuals that play fantasy basketball? There can't be that many. There can't be like 40% of people that don't understand how the game works. It just can't be true. So I want to see how he looks in his 20-minute-a-night role and see if there's any flashes I see for him long-term. I'm going to say no, there's not, but I want to watch it, and let's see how we go. For the Hawks, no DeAndre Hunter, so Cam Reddish has an opportunity. Can he take advantage of that to become a 12-team league player? He's going to do it on the back of steals, on the back of some out-of-position assists, and hitting threes at a pretty decent volume. So let's see what he can do, and if he can take on some of that usage that Hunter has been putting up. And then, of course, the Baptist John Collins, who's been playing okay minutes, chipping in different areas, but absolutely nowhere near the player he was last year. With Hunter out, I think it helps him somewhat as well. But if he can't even elevate his game again without Hunter there, then you have to have those significant concerns for the rest of the season, as I always do with Collins. Next up, the Kings and the Pelicans, the Tyreke Evans Bowl. How about your mate?
The world.
20 minutes for Whiteside in the last game because Luke Walton is terrible. Let's see if the fact that Whiteside was bad in those minutes leads Walton to realize that he shouldn't be playing him that much, and we get more of those Rashawn Holmes minutes. But if Whiteside plays 23 minutes a night, he does, chokingly become a 12-team league player. Nobody has ever denied, well, maybe they have, but nobody on this show, which is me, has ever denied that when Whiteside plays, he puts up numbers. That is an indisputable fact. But he is not good enough to play those minutes on most competent and well-run teams. The good thing, I guess, is that he plays for the Kings, who don't meet many of those criteria. So what is Whiteside going to do? How much is he going to play? And is he worth adding? No, but let's watch. And then we want to see Marvin Bagley, he's a points and rebounds guy. Hassan Whiteside would be proud. He does very little else. He struggles with percentages, but he is playing at a higher level than he was to begin this season. Is he worth a 12-team pickup? I don't believe so, but maybe my mind changes after this game. For the Pelicans, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, they are going to start this bloke at some point this season, and I'm adding him as a stash for sure at this point. Seeing what happens. He's already pushed JJ Redick out of the rotation. Can he get 25 a night regardless of Ball and Bledsoe? Let's see. And I also want to watch Lonzo Ball. Since those trade rumors came out, he's been unbelievable. He's been that guy that I've talked about, that if everything works for him, he's a top 20 fantasy player. getting rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, hitting threes, scoring an okay number. He can be that player. He won't be this player most likely, but he's turning it on at the moment, and it is a great opportunity for him against the Sacramento Kings. Next up, it is the Russell Westbrook Bowl. The Rockets and the Thunder. Eric Gordon, the value is starting to come down for him. I don't believe he's a long-term 12-team league player, so let's see what he offers here. And then also DeMarcus Cousins. I don't think it's worth having him in 12s. I want to see how he looks if he does play next to the Crucifix Christian Wood, how much he plays next to Wood, and what those minutes end up being. Because if he's not getting 20 plus a night, then he's not a 12-team league player, and I want to see if there's any hope for him to get to that 20 plus. For the Thunder, George Hill is out, so Teo Maledon is going to have another opportunity to put up some good numbers. So that is something that absolutely we want to be paying attention to here. And then let's look at Al Horford, because Horford's been really, really strong since coming back from the birth of his child. I don't expect it to continue at this level, but I do expect him to continue to be a fantasy impact guy, at least a guy that should be rostered in 12-team leagues. So how can he look? Can he look like he's not completely decrepit, like we saw in Philadelphia? And I think he can. He's been pretty strong. The Knicks and the Bulls, the Tom Thibodeau Bowl, or the Taj Gibson Bowl. Emmanuel Quickley, awesome on Sunday again. He did score 10 points in the fourth quarter when the game was out of hand, so that's worth keeping an eye on. I'm having a real hard time believing that a rookie's going to be a 30% usage guy hitting the percentage of shots that he is. I think he's missed one free throw almost for the year. Like at that sort of level, it's insanity. But he's playing well. So let's watch him. It'll be off the bench again. And let's see what his role is. And also let's look at Alec Burks' role, because he's losing out to Quickly. He's losing shot attempts to Quickly, who's just taking every shot possible in that second unit. And that makes him probably a drop at this point. So let's watch how those two work together and what this Knicks team does. For the Bulls, Thad Young is probably the biggest beneficiary of the Wendell Carter Jr. absence. And he almost had a triple-double in the last game, getting assist numbers up. He can get steals. He can rebound. Let's watch how that looks, and let's see if Dan Gafford doesn't look like the worst starter in the NBA, because his starting games in place of Carter have been horrendous. If he can play 25 minutes, which is a massive if at this point, he is a 12-team league player. But he's nowhere near that. He just gets killed every time he's on the court. Maybe he has an opportunity here against the Knicks. Let's focus in and see if he can do it, but man, I have some significant doubts about this bloke. Next up, the Blazers and the Bucks, the Pat Connaughton Bowl. Gaz Trent is playing huge minutes. He's scoring well and efficiently, but we know that if the shot doesn't go in, will he do anything else? That is always the big question with Gaza. And then with another absence for Derek Jones Jr., Anthony Simons, his minutes have been up. He's been good in the majority of these recent games. Is he someone we want to look at? I think we could stream him potentially for Monday. I wouldn't have him as a high priority guy, especially with 10 games on, but we could stream him. So let's see how he looks, because he was absolutely lost last season and lost to begin this year, but looked better the last couple. For the Bucks, Brook Lopez, minutes for him have been pretty consistent, and he's playing at a much higher level than he was to begin this year. Let's see if he's able to keep up that level of production. And then Pat Connaughton as well. 20 plus minutes for him recently. He's taking minutes away from guys like Portis, guys like DJ Augustin as well, seeing limited playing time. Connaughton's that deeper league sort of guy, 14 to 16 teamers, but he's rostered nowhere. So he is a guy that in those deeper formats you can have somewhat of a look at. The Wolves and the Cavs. These guys are playing on Sunday, and I'm recording this just before that game starts. This is the Kevin Love Bowl. Anthony Edwards started on Sunday with Naz Reid out. Will he continue to start? Will Juancho and Karl Towns be back? I don't know. But we want to watch Edwards to see what he can do. Can he score efficiently? What's his usage look like? Either in a situation where he's starting with those absences, or what he looks like when those guys come back. And then also D'Angelo Russell, who, let's be honest, has been bad this year. I think he's got the worst plus-minus out of every player in the NBA. He's struggling in games where Towns is out. He's just not as good as certain accounts on Twitter would have you believe. Ben Steiner, who think that he was an MVP candidate. He's not. He's not that good. I don't even think that he is a top 20 starting NBA point guard, and I want to see him do something good. For the Cavs, I want to watch Dylan Windler. I believe Windler can be an NBA starter at some point in a few years' time. I'd like to see them run with a Sexland, Okoro, and Windler starting quartet next to Jarrett Allen. That's maybe that's the basis of a next good playoff Cavs team. He's getting that opportunity is hard, but I want to watch him. And I also want to see Jarrett Allen. If he's 20 minutes a night, is there enough there to be a 12-team league player? Is it worth the stash? I like Allen, but I want to just pay attention to how the rotations look and how much playing time he's getting with Drummond around. The Suns and the Mavericks, the Jim Jackson Bowl. DeAndre Ayton, who can be, of course...
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
The lack of activity, the lack of aggression is always a concern with him, but he's been, I guess, over the last 2-3 weeks, on the whole, much better and been pretty good. So what can he offer here? Well, Abdul Nadir, with Devin Booker questionable again, campaign out, Nadir's been playing at a very high level. I would argue he's been better than Etuan Moore. He's been better than Langston Galloway. Has he been better than Cam Johnson? Maybe. He's been playing at a really high level. So I want to see what Nadir can do for deeper leagues. And then for the Mavericks, Porzingis. It hasn't been at his best the last few. What can he do? Can he start to put together 20s and 8s with 2 threes and 3 blocks? That's what we need from KP. He started off the season well and has dropped off a bit. Well, Joshie Richardson, I don't believe he's a 12-team league guy. Can I see some glimpses that would prove me wrong? That's what I want to see. What his minutes look like, what his shooting looks like, what his usage looks like. It's been rough so far. The Grizzlies and the Spurs, the Damari Carroll Bowl. DeAnthony Melton led the Grizzlies in minutes last game. Will that continue? Well, Grayson Allen's out again and Jonas Valanciunas is out again. Can I trust Taylor Jenkins to play Melton 30 minutes? Or will he DMP set him? Or will it be somewhere in between? Let's get it clear. Melton is better than Brooks. He's better than Bane. He's better than Allen. He's better than Jones. He should be playing 30 minutes a night next to Ja Morant. He hasn't been, but if he gets even a sniff of close to 30, he is a 12-team league ad. Xavier Tillman should get another start. Now, foul trouble limited him last game, and Gorgie Jeng took some of those minutes. But I think Tillman's the guy to stream in at least for Monday. I love him long term. I think there's great value in Tillman, and I want to watch what he does. Well, for the Spurs, your mate, Maximum Derek White.
Maximum Derek.
Second game back. Will they start him straight away? I don't believe they will. Let's see what his minutes look like. Let's see what he looks like in general. He was great in that first game back. I don't expect it to be the smoothest ride here, but let's watch him. And then Keldon Johnson only played 21 minutes last game after being very, very good for all of the season, but in particular, the 2 games prior to that, he'd been fantastic. So are his minutes really in jeopardy because of White? I highly doubt that, but let's see how it plays out. And the next game we look at is the Pistons and the Nuggets, the Jeremy Grant Bowl. So let's look at Grant. Simple as that. The Grant revenge game up against his former team. He's been consistently great all season. And then Isaiah Stewart, who's warming himself to Dwayne Casey, which is encouraging for what his minutes look like later in the season. Will they end up benching Plumlee? I'm not sure. But a 24-24 split could be something that happens as they hopefully try to pump more minutes into Stewart to see what he can do. So watch him. While the Nuggets, Maga Porter Jr. has been playing limited minutes off the bench with a big win over the Jazz on Sunday. I do not think this changes for Porter, and he plays 20 or 21 minutes here again. And that's something to watch. While Gaz Harris got injured. Nice, Gary! Will he play? If he doesn't, who's going to fill in? Will it be Porter? Will it be Morris? Will it be Faku? There's a number of different players they could use there. They went with Morris on Sunday. Let's see what decision they make here. For Monday, let's look at streams. Kelly Olynyk, I think, is a good stream in on Monday, as is Thad Young, Nickeil Alexander-Walker of the Pelicans, Rudy Gay of the Spurs, and Dorian Finney-Smith of the Dallas Mavericks. That'll do it for today's What to Watch For. Don't forget, subscribe, hit it down below, give it a thumbs up, and ring the bell, and you'll never miss an episode. Guys, I'll be back later on today with the daily recap show. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See ya.